You ever find yourself in one of those arguments where you've got all the facts, all the data, logic is completely on your side, and you still lose? It's one of the most maddening feelings in the world, right? Makes you question your own sanity. Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful strategy for winning the outcome, even when you know you can't possibly win the argument.
This is the exact question a super stressed engineer named Elias asked a friend. And honestly, it's the core question we are going to unpack today. It's a situation we have all been in, and trust me, learning the answer is like gaining a superpower.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our engineer, Elias, he's a brilliant guy, and he's just found a major, dangerous flaw in the design for a huge new skyscraper called the Sapphire Spire. The problem? Well, the design was created by his boss, Victor, a guy whose ego is somehow even taller than the buildings he puts up.
Okay, so look at what's happening here. On one side, you've got Elias. He's armed with physics, math, 3 different simulations that are all screaming the same thing. This building is not safe. But on the other side, Victor doesn't even touch the data. He's not arguing about facts. He's defending his entire identity as a genius.
And there it is. This is Victor's whole tactic. He can't fight the math, so what does he do? He attacks the mathematician. It's a classic ad hominem attack. See, by painting Elias as just some anxious, pessimistic guy, Victor tries to make all that solid data just disappear without ever having to prove it wrong. He's completely changing the game from a debate about physics to a judgment on Elias's character.
And this is that moment of pure frustration for Elias. I mean, we've all been there, right? You lay out the truth, clear as day, and it just bounces right off the other person. This is the exact moment you realize you're not just making the wrong moves, you're playing an entirely different game.
And the new rule book for that game comes from a psychologist, Dr. Aris Thorne. Aris listens to the whole story and just completely flips the problem on its head. He tells Elias, look, you didn't lose an argument about data. You lost a battle against a very powerful ego.
This right here is the big aha moment. It's the core of everything. We love to think we're logical beings, but when one of our deep-seated beliefs gets challenged, our emotional brain just hijacks the whole system. For Victor, Elias's data wasn't just information. It felt like a personal attack.
So here's what's actually happening in Victor's head. When he hears your design is flawed, his brain automatically translates that to you are flawed. And the psychological pain of that idea is so intense that his brain's threat detector, the amygdala, literally takes control from the rational part of his brain. It's not that he's choosing to ignore the facts. His brain is doing it for him to protect his sense of self.
And believe it or not, it gets worse. By bringing more and more proof, Elias was actually making Victor more certain that he was right. This is called the backfire effect. Every new simulation wasn't seen as evidence. It was seen as just another attack. In Victor's mind, the fact that Elias kept pushing just proved he was some kind of enemy, not a helpful colleague.
And finally, Dr. Thorne explains that, look, some people are just wired for conflict. For a high-conflict personality, the argument isn't about finding a solution. The conflict is the point. It's about winning, about dominating. There's this brilliant metaphor for it. You are sitting there playing chess, trying to find a logical path to checkmate. They're playing dodgeball, and your king is just another thing to throw a ball at. So, armed with this totally new understanding of the human mind, Elias goes back for round 2. But this time, he's not an engineer coming to present facts. Oh no, he's a strategist coming to manage an ego. Let's see how he puts this new knowledge to work.
Just look at this pivot. It's incredible. The first attempt was basically a direct assault on Victor's identity, but the second one, it does the exact opposite. It starts by validating that very same identity. Suddenly, the problem isn't Victor's flawed design anymore. Now it's about an external enemy, those small-minded city inspectors. The goal is no longer about being right. It's about getting the right outcome.
This is what psychological judo looks like in real life. Elias literally uses Victor's own ego as the force to get what he wants. He praises the vision, he creates this common enemy, and then he presents the exact same structural fix, not as a correction, but as a brilliant, proactive move to protect Victor's masterpiece from all the little people who just don't get it. He built a golden bridge, which allowed Victor to walk away from his bad idea without ever having to admit he was wrong.
And here's the payoff. It works. Perfectly. Victor not only accepts the fix, he takes full credit for it. In his own mind, it was his brilliant idea all along. So Elias gets no credit, he gets no apology, no validation whatsoever. But he gets the building fixed.
And that's really the heart of this whole story.
Elias had to completely redefine what winning actually meant. It wasn't about getting Victor to finally say, you know what, Elias, you were right. It was about making sure that Skyscraper wouldn't fall down. He sacrificed his own ego to achieve the goal that truly mattered.
So how can we actually use this stuff in our own lives? I mean, whether it's with a difficult boss, a stubborn family member, or even just some random person on the internet. Well, it all boils down to 4 simple rules.
These 4 steps are your guide. First, you've got to recognize when the conversation shifts from logic to emotion. The moment you see it, stop throwing facts at the problem. Second, and this is the hardest one, you have to let go of your own need to be proven right. Third, if you absolutely need a specific outcome, you've got to make it their idea. Build that golden bridge. And fourth, if there's nothing to win, just a fight to be had, you've got another really powerful tool.
And that tool is the gray rock method. High conflict people, they feed on drama, on your emotional reactions. If you give them absolutely nothing, no anger, no frustration, just boring, bland, non-committal responses, you're basically starving them of their fuel. They will get bored and go look for an easier target. It is an incredible way to just disengage and protect your own peace of mind.
All of this leads us to a pretty fundamental shift in how we think. It's about changing our own definition of what it actually means to win a disagreement.
You know, the real win isn't that little rush you get from hearing someone admit you were right all along. The real win is achieving the goal that actually matters, whether that's a safe building or simply your own sanity, and then walking away with your energy intact. It's about choosing your battles, and sometimes it's about playing a completely different game.
In the end, it all comes down to this really powerful, almost paradoxical idea. When you're up against someone who is immune to facts, someone whose whole identity relies on you being wrong, you just can't win by their rules. So sometimes, the only way to truly win the game is to refuse to play it at all.
Please like and subscribe.